Hello everybody and welcome. In this week's video, I'm going to talk about one of the things that I get asked the most frequently, which is how do I sell more prints of my photography? Now, there's a few things that I've learned from doing this for a few years. I don't sell a lot of prints currently. I don't really pursue it as much as I used to, but I was doing pretty well when I was pursuing selling prints, and I've learned quite a few things about it that I think will help you guys sell more prints in 2022. So I'm going to be listing off all of those things that are going to help you guys in this video. Hopefully it'll be informative and helpful for you guys so that you can sell some more prints in 2022. Now, the first thing that I think you need to realize is that there's really two different kinds of people that are selling prints, and a lot of photographers try and do both, but you will not be able to successfully do both. So realize that the two different types of people that are selling prints are that one, you're going to have the person that is selling prints as cheap as they can. They're trying to pump out as many as they can. They're going to sell them online. They're going to do not very much work to try and sell them. They're just going to try and sell them online, like through a website or something else. Now, there's nothing wrong with being that person, but a lot of photographers want to sell their prints at art shows. So this is the second kind of seller. Someone that sells at art shows, they might sell limited edition prints. They sell expensive. They're not going to make a lot of sales, but when they do make a sale, the print is going to be very, very expensive. So decide which kind of photographer you want to be right now and decide whether you want to go after a lot of sales at a lower price. You're going to do it online, social media, that kind of thing, or you're going to try and go to art shows and make your sales that way. Regardless of which one you want to do, I'm going to give you tips for both of these here in this video. So make sure that you don't combine the two. Of course, you want to keep each one separate because, like I said, if you try and do both, it's not going to go well. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is for the person that wants to sell the prints just on their website. They're not going to do art shows. They're not going to do limited edition, nothing like that. They're going to sell them on their website for a cheap price. Now, this kind of person, you can sell a lot of prints on your website just through social media if you sell them at a lower cost. This is mostly going to be maybe paper prints, some metal prints and canvas as well, but it's going to be probably a majority of paper prints, people that just really like your photo and they want to put it on their wall or they want to get it small as a gift or something like that. So the nice thing about this is that compared to the second kind of photographer selling prints, you don't have to have a huge inventory. You don't have to have any inventory at all. You might want a few photos of your artwork printed to put on your website, but you don't have to have tons of actual physical artwork that you're storing. You don't have to have money in it at all. So all that you need to do to get started this way is to set it up through your website to order prints. Now, there's a lot of nice websites out there that allow you to order the prints, and they will handle everything from the print to the shipping, everything like that through the website. So you actually don't really have to do anything. Once someone places an order, they're going to do it all for you. So those are really nice to have. Of course, you could do the orders yourself, but if you're going to sell them for cheap and you're going to try and sell a lot of them, you're going to spend a lot of time going through placing orders, sending them to people, drop shipping them, and X, Y, and Z. So I would try and set it up through your website so that you can sell these prints. Now, the pricing is obviously very important because the kind of customer that's looking for a print like this, that's not really artwork quality, I guess I would say, or it's not really limited edition. It's not going to be signed. It's not going to come with a certificate of authenticity or anything like that. The person that's going to look for that is looking heavily for something that is reliant on the price. So the price is really important. Now, my recommendation is to mark it up about 20 to 30% off of what you're paying from the print shop. So most of the websites that'll do it for you, they'll tell you how much money they're going to take out of the sale on each size print. So figure out exactly how much you want to mark it up. Like I said, for this kind of photographer, I recommend a 20 to 30% markup because nothing is limited edition about it. You're not signing it. You're not really spending much time dealing with the person that's ordering the print. So 20 to 30% is a good place to be. Now, your primary way to get your customers is going to be via social media. Instagram and Facebook is a great place to go to get people to buy these prints. And more often than not, I would just recommend posting photos, and you don't always have to advertise that you're selling prints. You can just simply post the photos and people may reach out to you every once in a while, maybe say, hey, I do sell prints. You can purchase them here on my website, leave a link. Now, I would caution you against using sales. I see a lot of photographers out there that are doing a sale. They'll do a sale on Black Friday, and then they'll do another sale in the spring, another summer sale, and they'll do sales around holidays like companies. Now, I want you to be careful because if you do this, be aware that you are not really going to sell anything unless there's a sale, because anyone that's following you that's thinking about buying your work, once they see that you offer sales frequently, they're just going to wait for a sale to make a purchase. So sales are not always the best. If you do a sale, I would recommend doing it maybe once a year at most, so that you don't train your customers into thinking that you're always going to have a sale. So that's really all my advice for this kind of photographer. Now, I also want to talk about the kind of advice that I would give you if you're going to be a photographer that wants to sell fine art prints, limited editions at art shows and things like that, selling them for a lot of money. So for the kind of photographer that wants to sell limited edition artwork, they want to sell really nice pieces of art for high prices, here is some tips that I would recommend. First of all, you got to set your prices really high. Now, the reason that you're going to do that is because eventually you may want to go into a gallery space somewhere. Maybe you know someone that has a gallery, you have a connection, or just from being at a few art shows, you'll get yourself into a gallery space. Now, the problem with galleries is most galleries are going to take about 50% of the sale. Some are less. You might be able to find ones that are 30%, and some are even higher, maybe 70 or 80% of the sale. They're going to keep that money, and they're only going to give you the rest of the money. So that's important to note, because you can't be selling your prints for cheaper at an art show where you're not giving a commission and then selling them for more expensive at a gallery, because the gallery is not going to allow you to do that. So if your goal is to get into a gallery, you have to keep even prices throughout your website, through all your events and everything like that. Now, if you want to get around that pricing with the gallery, what you can do is maybe offer people discounts, but these are things that kind of have to stay on the hush-hush on the side. You don't really want to advertise that, hey, you can get a discount if you buy it directly through me, because that is not going to make galleries very happy. And that's something when they're looking at putting your work in their gallery, if they see that you do that kind of thing, they're going to avoid you getting in the gallery. Now, of course, a great way to sell prints if you were going to do this is via art shows, and art shows can be really hit or miss. You need to try and find the right art shows in the right areas. I'm sure you guys have all been to an art show or two, and there's some art shows that are kind of more like a market. The things that sell well are in the $30 to $50 range, and it's not a good place for fine artwork like nice photography prints that are nice and big. So you need to figure out which art shows are going to yield the highest results. Now, when you're going to these art shows, it's really important that you pick the right pieces of work to go into these art shows. It's really nice to have a couple big pieces to draw people into your booth and get talking to you. A lot of times when you're talking to someone, you'll find out that they want a print, but maybe you don't have one that is going to fit their size. But that is why I bring a portfolio book with a lot more of my images, with just little like 8.5 by 11 piece of paper of each of my images. And I just printed on nice photo paper, and I have that in a book that people can flip through. They can look through my images, and a lot of times this will lead to an order. Now, if you are wanting to sell prints at the art show, which obviously you do to make it worth your time, if you can get even 1 to 3 sales, that's going to make it worth your time to go out to that art show. So picking the right pieces that may sell are really important. So for example, I've done a lot of art shows in Central Oregon, in the Bend and Sisters area. Now, in Central Oregon, what sells really well is images that are in Central Oregon, of course. When people go to these art shows, they usually want to buy an image that they can associate with. So a lot of times I might have a nice image of Smith Rock printed out, and someone from Bend might say, oh, Smith Rock is 30 minutes away from here. I remember when my girlfriend and I walked up to Smith Rock and I proposed to her there, or whatever it may be. People want to buy artwork that they can connect with, whether it's they can connect with you or they can connect with the place of the photo that's being taken. It's really important to think about that. Now, the other kind of artwork that sells really well is the kind that is really simple or maybe abstract, the stuff that's going to look really nice on a wall in a home. So it's important, make sure your photos are something that people can likely identify with, a place that many people have been, or there's something that's really simplistic and would look nice on any wall, and it's not a location that is really important where the location is exactly. One example of this is I wouldn't print out a really large image of a beautiful sunrise from the backcountry of Idaho from a random spot that I just found on Google Earth, and I was probably one of the first people to go there and photograph it. I'm not going to print that image out for an art show because it's unlikely that someone wants to buy that because they haven't been there. They probably don't have any connection to, let's say, the Idaho backcountry, for example, if my art show's in Oregon. So it's not a print that's probably going to sell. So I recommend staying away from those. And when you're deciding which prints to print out that you're going to sell, it's important to kind of remove your personal feelings and thoughts on that artwork, because a lot of times photographers will really, really like an image themselves, and so they'll think that it's going to sell really well, but it might not. So try and take yourself out of the situation competition and think of what other people might want to buy. Now, for the kind of photographer doing prints like this, I recommend mostly doing either metal or canvas prints. These are going to go really easily in your car, truck, SUV, whatever you've got, to an art show. They're not going to break like a paper print and a frame. And I also would recommend not selling prints on your website. So what I actually do right now is I have my price list up on my website where I list the prices for each size print. But someone can't order a print through my website. Now, you might be thinking this might be losing me a lot of sales, but it's important to me that I'm kind of promoting the high quality, limited edition feel to my artwork when someone contacts me, and I can really work directly with them to kind of figure out exactly what piece would look good in their space, exactly what medium, what finish, and all of that info. So don't sell prints directly through your website. Post a link and let people email you. If they really want to buy something, they will email you. But you are going to find that most of the prints that you're going to sell are going to be through art shows or galleries. So if this is the kind of photographer you want to be, try and find a gallery, try and find an art show, and kind of just get your foot in the door. The more people you know, the better. This really is an industry that's all about who you know. Selling prints is really, really about who you know. So it's really important to get your feet on the ground and just meet some people. One thing that I like to do when I deliver my prints is if they live near me, a lot of times I'll offer to deliver the print. Or if it's a really large print, I will fly and deliver it to them. Now, this is going to help you to kind of sell that really nice quality feel. If you deliver it and hang it for someone, they're really going to feel like this is a really fine art piece of artwork. And of course, it's always nice when you're selling expensive artwork like this, if you can actually be there, sign it, check the print over, make sure it looks fantastic, and make sure that your clients are taken care of really well. The last thing that you can do to really add value to this kind of artwork is to make your prints limited edition. There's a lot of different ways to do limited edition prints. I'll let you guys figure that out, but I will just mention that that is something that's worth looking into, is how to do limited edition, how to get certificates of authenticity, and really make your buyer feel like they're purchasing a piece of art, not just something to put on the wall. Because if they feel like it's art, they are likely to buy again from you. They're likely to talk about it with their friends, and it's just going to help you make more sales in the future. Remember, if you are this kind of photographer, you really don't need to make a lot of sales to be successful, because you're going to be marking your prints up quite high because they are limited edition. You're probably going to have a 300 to 400% markup or more. So even if you can only sell a print or two a month, that is still really, really good, and you'll be doing well. Now, when you're just starting, don't think that you're going to make a living just selling prints. You'll probably need to do it kind of as a side hustle for a little bit before you can finally do it full time and travel around. But if you are really serious about it, I would recommend taking the second option and working your way up to doing traveling art shows and galleries, because that really is how you are going to get the most customers and make enough money that you can actually make a yearly income. Alrighty guys, well, I really hope this video was helpful for you. I hope that no matter which kind of photographer you want to be, that you can sell more prints in 2022. It's so satisfying when people buy your prints, because at least to me, that means a lot when someone purchases a print. They actually like my work enough that they want to put it up permanently on their wall, or they want to collect it, or whatever it may be. So it feels really good to sell your prints. And I really hope this video will help you guys in order to kind of distinguish yourself between the two kinds of photographers selling prints, and to kind of get full speed ahead to figure out exactly how you're going to sell more prints in 2022. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you guys next weekend, and Happy New Year's. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.